From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
This is a WUFT News Update. I'm Violet Comber-Wilen.
And I'm Ophelie Jacobson. We begin with developing news out of Wisconsin, where the verdict for Kyle Rittenhouse is not guilty on all counts. The teenager killed 2 criminal justice protesters on a tense night last summer in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Rittenhouse testified he fired in self-defense, though prosecutors cast him as the instigator. NBC's Jay Gray has more from Kenosha.
Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty.
5 times.
Not guilty.
The court clerk reads aloud.
Not guilty.
The jury's verdict.
Not guilty.
Kyle Rittenhouse breaking down as he's cleared of all 5 charges after killing 2 protesters and wounding a 3rd during a march in Kenosha.
He wishes none of this would have ever happened, but as he said when he testified, he did not start this, and we're thankful in more ways than one.
This town, more than a year later, is still tense.
People have a right, the Second Amendment, I'm a veteran, people have a right to carry, to defend themselves.
And still divided after today's decision.
There's no way that you can justify in the streets of America that an individual can carry an automatic weapon, an AR-15, and shoot and kill anybody under any reason.
As the crowds continue to build around the courthouse, so does the police presence here. Jay Gray, NBC News, Kenosha, Wisconsin.
There are about 500 National Guard soldiers on the ground and on standby if needed. You'll find more coverage of the Rittenhouse verdict on the PBS NewsHour.
In Washington, D.C., after hours of stalling by the top Republicans, House Democrats rallied to ram through a record social spending plan. One Democrat from Maine joined all Republicans in opposition. Republicans in the Senate are hoping 1 or 2 Democrats will help them scale it back or stop it. NBC's Alice Barr reports from Washington.
The Build Back Better bill is passed.
Celebration on the House floor this morning as Democrats finally passed President Biden's $1.75 trillion Build Back Better Act.
This bill is monumental. It's historic, it's transformative, it's bigger than anything we've ever done.
The package includes funding to fight climate change and boost investment in the nation's social safety net, from child care and universal pre-K to lowering costs for health insurance and prescription drugs. One Democrat sided with all Republicans voting against the bill after the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office projected it would add $160 billion to the deficit over a decade.
Stop this madness.
But the CBO's tax revenue estimates are smaller than a Treasury Department projection, convincing holdout Democrats the bill will ultimately pay for itself.
This is a bill we should pass.
Heated debate ran late into the night. Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy pushing the vote to this morning with a record-breaking 8.5-hour speech.
It's all right, I got all night. This bill is too extreme, too costly, and too liberal. Why are we afraid of debate?
Democrats periodically heckling throughout.
Nobody elected Joe Biden to be FDR.
The temporary roadblock not stopping passage here in the House, but the bill faces stiffer opposition in the evenly divided Senate, where it will likely need changes to win approval. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
The U.S. is quickly moving towards COVID-19 vaccine booster shots for all adults, not just those with risky health conditions or risky jobs. Some states have already skipped ahead, but federal approval seems to be coming fast. NBC's Dan Scheneman explains the urgency.
This morning, the FDA okayed COVID-19 booster shots for all adults. The next step for approval is in the hands of the CDC.
We are at a time where boosters will make a difference, especially considering that boosters' effectiveness occurs immediately. That is important as people start to travel next week for the holidays.
Boosters could be welcome news for travelers still concerned about COVID.
We have lots of hand sanitizer, lots of Lysol, lots of face masks.
Boosters already available in many states, including Massachusetts, seeing the highest number of daily cases in 9 months.
As long as the FDA approves it, I trust, that system, and I think I would definitely get it as soon as I possibly could.
Health officials hoping boosters will help combat what could be another wave of infections. Dan Scheneman, NBC News.
To recap, once the expansion of boosters is approved, here's the likely guidance. If you've had 2 doses of Pfizer, get a 3rd dose after 6 months. For Moderna, because it has stronger dosing, the booster is just a half dose to minimize side effects. Because Johnson & Johnson has somewhat lesser protection, the booster can come just 2 months later. And because mixing and matching seems to work, you can switch to another vaccine. And someone might make that choice to minimize rare side effects for certain groups of people.
In Gainesville, the 8th Judicial Circuit State Attorney's Office hosted a first responder tailgate luncheon. WUFT's Kassidy Ebrahimi shows us why it's more than the average tailgate.
Since he was a child, Jason Letterman only wanted to do one thing.
I always wanted to be a police officer, even when I was a little kid. I just wanted to help people.
For more than 2 decades, he lived his dream.
I was with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for 25 years.
Letterman transitioned to the State Attorney's Office to be an investigator, but right now, he's chopping chicken at this tailgate.
You know, they asked me to cook, so I cooked some smoked chicken, some Boston butts, macaroni and cheese, baked beans, and it's for a great cause.
This tailgate honors those who protect Alachua County.
We're trying to make this year a festive event and more celebratory and provide a good meal, some good music, and just a moment of just peace and relaxation.
The tailgate brings about the opportunity for first responders in the community to recognize their work together.
I love all my law enforcement brothers and sisters, firemen brothers and sisters. I'd do anything for them.
From connecting on the front lines to connecting through good food and great times, Kassidy Ebrahimi, WUFT News.
Now, Ophelia, I was seeing some really nice weather on my walk to work today.
Yeah, it was a beautiful day today, and it felt pretty dry too. Let's check in with Julia Haley to see if this beautiful weather will continue through the weekend.
Yes, we had a cold front pass through this morning with some showers, but it looks like we'll be seeing some sunnier skies ahead. Currently, with these blue skies at the University of Florida, we're seeing those temperatures at 67 degrees. And all around north central Florida, we're seeing those temperatures drop into the mid 60s as well. Tonight, we should be seeing temperatures drop to the upper 50s with cloudy skies persisting throughout the morning. And I don't know about you, but I am excited for these cooler temperatures ahead. I cannot wait to bundle up and make some s'mores during my Thanksgiving week. So this is all due to this cold front that is going to be making its way through Gainesville. It's going to be pushing out all of this moisture from our area, giving us some drier days ahead. And we're going to be getting some below average temperatures for this time of year. Something to look out for. On to our 6-day outlook, those temperatures staying pretty consistent Saturday through Monday with partly cloudy skies. But on Tuesday, we should feel the effects of that cold front with temperatures rising throughout your Thanksgiving week. On to sports with Harrison Smajovits.
Welcome to sports. I'm Harrison Smajovits. We have action high school football tonight. We are in the heat of playoff action. Some notable local games include Buchholz playing University in the 7A brackets. The winner advances to the regional final. Along with Buchholz, PK Young plays Trinity Catholic in the regional semifinal of the 3A brackets. In the 1A bracket, Hawthorne takes on Wildwood. That game is also in the regional semifinal. Gator football is set to play its final SEC game of the season when they face Missouri. The Gators look to end conference play on a high note. Florida sits at 2-5 in conference. If they lose to the Tigers, it would be their first season with only 2 conference wins since 1986. Florida has not lost to Mizzou since 2018. Gator volleyball wraps up its home schedule with this weekend when they face South Carolina for 2 matches. The Gators come in on a 7-match winning streak and are 9-3 at home. Tiara Caesar is closing in on 1,000 career digs. She currently sits at 997. The Gators are 59-9 all-time against the Gamecocks. Gator men's basketball improves to 3-0 on the year with a win over Milwaukee. The Gators pounced the Panthers 81-45. Colin Castleton had a double-double for the second straight game. 4 Florida players scored at least 12 points. Gator head coach Mike White says he's happy with the effort put in by his team.
But I am very proud of the approach. I thought the last couple of days were just solid, and I thought that our effort was solid defensively for about 35 minutes. Cleaned up some turnovers there in the second half.
The Gators will be back in action on Monday when they face Cal in the Fort Myers tip-off. Gator women's basketball is in action tonight against Grambling State. The Gators enter the game 2-2 on the season, but they come off a 61-47 win over Wofford. The Tigers sit at 2-0, meaning Florida aims to hand them their first loss of the season. Tip-off is at 6 p.m., and that will do it for sports.
Thanks, Harrison. We end with a story that proves it's not just Winnie the Pooh who gets honey jars stuck on his nose. A bear in southwest Florida was spotted on camera with a big plastic jug stuck on its nose. It took 3 weeks for FWC to track him down to attempt a rescue. And it looks like the plastic container was part of an automatic pet feeder. FWC staff were able to treat a neck injury caused by the plastic rim. So after a day and a half of monitoring, he was able to romp off in search of the 100-acre wood.
Thanks for catching up with WUFT News on Facebook. I'm Violet Comber-Wilen.
And I'm Ophelie Jacobson. For more on the Rittenhouse not guilty verdict and other news, check out WUFT.org. Have a good night.